In the heart of an abandoned landscape, long shuttered windows stared out like empty eyes. A forgotten asylum stood unresolved among the echoes of its past. The gale whispered through the cracks in the walls, carrying secrets of faded memories and tormented souls. Behind the crumbling facade lay the remnants of human suffering, carefully locked away. But it's not the bricks and mortar that held the true terror. It was the sense of something alive within. Visitors spoke of its unsettling aura, a weight that pressed upon their chests, threatening to squeeze the breath from their lungs. As Guy entered the decrepit halls, each footstep stirred the dust, unsettled decades of silence. An unseen entity seemed to follow his every move. The floors creaked with diligence, announcing his passage like a very unwelcoming host. Fragments of chaotic laughter, distant screams, and hushed whispers echoed from within as memories of the asylum's troubled inhabitants swirled through his mind, laying bare its history of anguish and despair. The once vibrant walls now bore the markings of time and torment, streaked with dark stains and peeling paint, each strip of wallpaper a remnant of a life once lived. Locked doors lined the corridors, yet the most unsettling of all was how they appeared to rattle on their hinges, whispering promises of salvation that never came. It was said among locals that the very essence of the asylum was alive. It breathed with a consciousness of its own. As night descended, the atmosphere thickened with tension, as if the shadows had grown curious, yearning to unveil their forgotten stories. The legend of the wandering psychologist haunted the premises, a wisp of a man whose face was never comprehended, but whose presence lingered with a cold grip around the neck of every unfortunate soul who wandered too close. Rumor had it that he was forever searching for what he missed in life, an understanding that eluded him even in the depths of his practice. The memory of his patients haunted him, patients who still roamed in limbo, their souls unable to exit the buildings that contained their secrets. As hours passed, a faint murmuring filled the hall, coaxing Guy deeper into the heart of the asylum. His soul felt like it was being pulled with an unseen tether, stronger than any fear that served to shake him. Archways led him to a room locked away at the far end of the corridor, a door that almost seemed to invite him, urging him to turn the handle. But he hesitated, uncertainty heavy in his heart. In a moment of madness, as if kissed by a desperate breath of the unseen, the door creaked open by itself, revealing a chamber holding remnants of a forgotten time, old chairs arranged in a circle, each one dust-covered yet eerily preserved, or perhaps waiting. A chill ran down his spine, and as he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him, sealing him within. In that instant, the air grew thick, as if it conspired with the shadows that danced at the edges of his vision. He could hear the soft cries now, mingled with the low murmur of whispers. He was not alone here. Night pressed its weight against the walls, impenetrable and suffocating. It took all his strength to compose himself, yet his heart raced with the realization that he was running out of time. Just then, a figure materialized in the gloom. A woman, pale skin aglow with unnatural light, her eyes dark hollow voids. The anguish etched upon her features twisted into a grotesque smile, as if to mock his mortal plight. It was one of the many lost souls, trapped in the remnants of their own tragedizing despair. "Why have you come here?" the figure whispered, her voice hauntingly beautiful yet horrifically empty. Choking back dread, he found himself confronting the very question that plagued his thoughts. Who could say what awaited beyond the locked doors of their lives? Was he simply a spectator to their suffering, or did they draw him in to entwine his fate with theirs? The line blurred, merging the living with the forgotten. As those eyes stared into his, he could feel an ancient longing, a plea echoing far beyond their confinement. Suddenly, a cacophony erupted outside the room. Guy turned sharply, heart pounding against his chest, desperate to find an escape. The walls seemed to pulse, alive and throbbing with energy, as if the building itself were feeding upon his fear. With one final yank, the door jolted open, not of his own volition, casting an otherworldly glow from beyond, in eerie contrast to the dark hallway. He bolted, not daring to look back, every instinct urging him to reach the entrance. Yet as he ran, he noticed the doors along the corridor swinging wide open in a dance of shadows. Whatever remnants of humanity each door contained tugged at his psyche, beckoning him to know their stories. But he was powerless to resist. Something deep within him knew he belonged neither in this realm nor the next. The asylum itself, a shivering entity of its own, had become a puppeteer, manipulating the strings of fate, keeping its gory secrets tangled in the threads of illusion. And there, as the sun began to rise, its first rays illuminating the path that led away from the horrors within, a lingering question settled over him like a fine veil of mist. Would he ever truly escape from the holds of the asylum, or would he join the many whose cries still echoed behind those locked doors? This question hung pervasive in the silence as he stumbled out into the daylight. The asylum loomed behind him, backlit by the rising sun, a reminder of the dark truths concealed within. But while daylight brought a semblance of normalcy, the whisperings of the asylum still curled at the edges of his consciousness, lingering like a shadow that refused to dissipate. Don't forget to subscribe for more. We keep watch.